Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Kansas in the Cup Series. No Truck Series or Xfinity Series in this episode, as well as no very first part of the Cup race because I actually lost some footage of this episode. So basically we're going right in to, I think, lap 6 it was of the race, but we qualified outside of the top 10, I can tell you guys that much. The Xfinity Series and the Truck Series had solid runs, and I at least got the cinematic view of the start of the Cup Series race here. We were actually around Daniel Suarez for the start of this race, Clint Boyer just in front of me, but we had utilized that top lane to my advantage in this first handful of laps, and we would move our way forwards past the 41 of Daniel Suarez and whatnot, past the 14 of Clint Boyer. Denny Hamlin actually started on pole. He's been so fast this season, and we had worked our way up to P11 as we came through on lap 7 of this race. This is when I actually got the footage back, so I, for some reason, lost the whole first part of the race, which was 6 laps or so, but either way, at least it wasn't a big loss. Now as we came through out of turns 4 at this point, we were actually battling to get ourselves inside the top 10 early on here in Kansas on the outside of Kurt Busch and William Byron, 3 wide actually, with our Chip Ganassi teammate of Kurt Busch as we went down into turns 1, and we would enter the top 10 for this brief amount of time as we were battling it out with that 24 of William Byron for quite a few laps here in this first and opening stage, and we came through now on lap 9 of 19. A little bit later, Clint Boyer had actually made it 3 wide with myself and Byron. He would drive past us both as we continued to battle with that 24. It seemed like myself and Byron were very even in this first stage so far. We came through though out of turn 4, using that outside to my advantage to build up a big run and actually finally get clear of the 24 of William Byron, so went down into turns 1, so we were back inside the top 10 at this point. We came through now on lap 14 of 19. I started running the bottom lane a little bit here. I was trying to save my tires because I'd noticed that I pushed too hard on the tires, and that was going to be a bit of an issue. As we came through now on lap 15, the tire icon comes on here with a handful of laps to go in the stage. So now we come through to just approaching 2 to go on the stage, knowing that I'm in a little bit of trouble here. We're running low on fuel as well, so I'm also trying to let off a little bit here, save the fuel and the tires. We come through now to 6% on the right rear tire as I was approaching the final lap in stage 1. Denny Hamlin leading the way as he's going to easily win the stage if he hangs on, as I'm trying to, like I say, save fuel as well as save my right rear tire to make sure we come across the line here, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a top 10 because I'm probably going to have to give up a position just so we don't go too hard on the tires here, as there's only 2% on the right rear on this final lap in the stage. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. right on my back bumper, down to 1% on the right rear tire. We go down into turn 3. I let out the throttle. Stenhouse actually gets into the side of me. He hangs on to it. The 24 of William Byron goes by on the inside as well, knowing that I'm in big trouble coming through as we're exiting turn 4. We're also running out of fuel as this is happening, and then the right rear tire is going to go down as we come through to cross the line to get P12 here in stage 1. So we run out of fuel coming to the line. We blow a right rear tire. Denny Hamlin wins the stage and gets a playoff point. But these endings to these stages recently have been really weird, and Talladega had a really weird finish. There was a lot of fuel issues in the last race, I think it was. And now here we are having more fuel issues and tire issues. We had to repair the car because of the tire going down, so this would put us down here in P17 for the start of the second stage. Tyler Reddick in the 31 just in front of us. Daniel Suarez, our rival, on our outside as we go down towards turns 117 laps here in stage 2. So a few laps shorter, which means we're not going to have to worry about fuel or tire conservation in this second stage, as Kevin Harvick actually made a 3 wide move trying to take the lead away from Denny Hamlin down this back straightaway as we go down towards turns 3 on the inside of the 88 there of Alex Bowman, just behind still Tyler Reddick as you got Austin Dillon on his outside as we exit turn 4, nearly getting into the left-hand side of Austin Dillon, but thankfully we keep it clean now as Harvick is clear for the lead over Hamlin. But there's a lot of JGR drivers right now up in that top 5. Eric Jones, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, all 3 of those drivers locked into the playoffs, as well as the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. The whole JGR squad already locked into the playoffs with victories, so you can see who's been the best team so far this season in our career mode. As we go down towards turn 1, Hamlin has been having an incredible start to the season already, and last season he had so many wins and lost the championship championship in the final corner. Could this be his season? Obviously far too early to tell, but as we came down this front straightaway, we would be able to get past the 24 of William Byron, move up into P12, and then we would get into a little bit of a scrap here with Kurt Busch now, and Chris Buescher as we came through on lap 4 of 17 in this second stage up the inside of Kurt Busch, and I decided on the exit of turn 4, we're just going to kind of slide up in front of him to make sure he can't have a run back on myself as we came through now on lap 8 of 17 in the second stage. P11 at this point still behind Chris Buescher, but we would get a caution here in Kansas as Denny Hamlin continued to lead the way. No one was coming to the pit lane, so we would stay out and get ready to go green from P11. Joey Logano just in front of me here for this restart. Denny Hamlin trying to hold on to the lead with Kevin Harvick joining him on the front row now as the green flag is back out, and we are underway here approaching lap 11 of 17 in this second stage. Kurt Busch just behind myself. No Chip Ganassi drivers right now inside the top 10, but hopefully we can change that as we go down into turns 1 on the inside of the 37 of Chris Buescher. Eric Jones moves through into second position past Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch is going to try and get up into P3 in the process, as well as it's right in front of us Logano and Elliott side by side as we go down into turns 3 on lap 11 of 17 here in this second stage. As we do take the top 10 position away from the 37 of Buescher, we push up again almost into the side of Elliott, certainly noticing the car was pretty tight on the exit of the corners, especially turn 4 there, as I almost got into Austin Dillon earlier, and now nearly getting into the 9 of Chase Elliott as we go down into turns 1, trying to clear the 9, and we're going to kind of chop his nose a little bit, and we would clear him though. Take P9 away, sure enough, on lap 12 out of turn 4, we get to the inside now of Clint Boyer, and we're going to come through and take over the 8th position from him as we went down into turns 1, just behind that 22 still of Joey Logano as we slide up in front of the 14 to make sure I get clear, and now we came through on lap 14, he would actually be able to fight back on my inside as we came through turns 3 and turns 4. The car just wasn't quite there in the final laps of this second stage here. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was back in the mix as well. He was having a pretty solid run at this point here in Kansas with 3 to go in stage 2. Denny Hamlin still leading the way, but he actually was under pressure from his JGR teammate of Eric Jones. You don't usually expect to see that. Eric Jones has had many rough seasons in our career mode, only had, what, 1 win or so in our career mode before this season, and this season he does have a win, and he's in the playoffs, and he's running strong now as we go down towards turns 3 on the inside of Logano, approaching the final lap here in stage 2. Stenhouse making progress, passing Logano now, passing Clint Boyer, as well as passing myself, of course, as we exit turns 4, coming through to start the final lap here in stage 2. Denny Hamlin trying to hold off a hard-charging Eric Jones here as they go down towards turns 1. Jones is right on that back bumper of Hamlin, as you can see up in the distance as we come through turns 1 and 2 for the final time here in stage 2, running that middle lane as we exit the corner, heading down this back straightaway for the final time. Clint Boyer should be safe from myself as we go down towards turn 3. He decides to run the top, so maybe if I full sent to the bottom, we might have had a chance to do something, but obviously we chose it kind of higher to middle lane as we exit turns 4, though. For the final time, Denny Hamlin wins stage 2 and sweeps the first 2 stages as we come through across the line to get P9 here in the second stage. Joey Logano rounds out the top 10. Eric Jones up there in P2. We would pit for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires. No adjustments really necessary, as I didn't feel like we could make the car handle a lot better. I think it was just down to raw speed at this point. So already getting ready for the third and final stage here in Kansas. We gain 1 spot on the pit lane and we will restart in P8 now with about 25 laps to go here in the race, which means if it stays green, we will have to make a green flag pit stop. Will it stay green? Likely not. We'll see what happens though as we go down towards turns 1. Truex was thought about maybe forcing a 3 wide there between Stenhouse and Brad Keselowski as we come through on the exit of turns 2. Clint Boyer side by side with the 19 of Truex now as we go down this back straightaway. Logano back to my inside. We've been racing around Joey Logano quite a bit in this race. We're going to get all the way up to the higher lane and get close to the wall now as we come through the center of the corner. And on the exit of turn 4, it's going to pay off. We have the momentum down the straightaway. We're going to be 3 wide with Logano and Truex. Truex kind of bails there out of the middle, and now we're still going to be side by side with him though as we go down into the corner. The 24 of William Byron still in the mix as he's been about a 10th to 12th place car, it seems, throughout this race for that 24 team, as now Truex actually would fight back to the inside of Logano, pass him, drive away, as we would get into a little bit of a scrap with Logano as well now. On lap 48, Kevin Harvick was battling for the lead with Denny Hamlin. I try a bit of a slide job on the 22 of Joey Logano. Does not work in my favor. He gets back past me, and in the process, I screw it up so bad that the 24 was able to pounce on the opportunity as well. And now we drift outside of the top 10. So we come through on lap 48 on the exit of turns 4, trying to get back into a top 10 position. So we get to the outside of William Byron, but up ahead we got smoke from somebody as they're up in the outside wall, and that is going to bring out a caution here in the third and final stage. And it looks like it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I would pit for 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires, make a slight wedge adjustment. And to my surprise, we lost 13 positions on the pit lane. I thought with 20 laps to go, 4 tires would be a very straightforward call, but the AI thought otherwise. Now as we're going to be restarting P23, but I guess at least we have the 4 fresh tires. We have a win this season. We're locked in the playoffs. We weren't going to win this race on the same tires anyways as the AIs. We definitely just don't have that raw speed to be a lead car, but maybe with the 4 fresh tire advantage, we could have a little something for the AI here in the final laps. 3 wide though there with Jimmy Johnson and the 6 of Ryan Newman. We clear Jimmy Johnson, who's having a bit of a rough night. He's currently inside the playoffs here in our career mode this season. Will he stay there? We're going to have to wait and see now as we come through the turns 3 and out of turn 4, passing now the 6 of Ryan Newman, and it's just a mess of cars right in front of us that obviously I'm going to jump up to the outside to get past them all as Blaney's just in front of me. It's been quite a while since we've seen Ryan Blaney win in our career mode as well. I think it was season 1 since he's won, and that was the same for Eric Jones coming into the season. Now as we're up on the outside of the 95 of Matt Benedetto, the 37 of Chris Buescher. Just in front of us we got our teammate Kurt Busch. Not a great night so far for the Chip Ganassi Racing team. We have gotten stage points in each stage now, as there you see our rival of Daniel Suarez there on the inside. We're gonna be 3 wide with him and the 3 of Austin Dillon. We kind of pinched the 3 of Austin Dillon, and a little bit of contact there between himself and I. Now Suarez is going to kind of crowd us towards the outside wall, but we keep it clean now as we come through turns 1 and 2. I was hoping that we could be at least clear of the 41 of Suarez on the exit of turns 2. Unfortunately, it's not going to quite work out like that now as he's pushing us up towards wall, and Suarez hooks us down the back straightaways. We're going to go spinning through down into turns 3, and it's going to be a big crash into the corner. Many cars involved: the 95, the 10, the 1, the 12, the 6, the 48. We got a whole bunch of cars, the 37, myself, and Daniel Suarez as well, obviously. Now as that Suarez ignites a big one here, and Kansas completely takes us out, and that would send us to the back as we had to repair the car. It was only 3 seconds of damage, so obviously we are still in the race, but Daniel Suarez completely screws up our race here in Kansas. And I knew when we were side by side on the exit of turns 2 I was in trouble, but I was just trying to work my way back forward. Sure enough, I would do exactly that. We came through now on lap 59, knowing our chances of winning are pretty much gone, as Kyle Busch was leading this race as we go down towards the turn 3. I mean, our chances of winning were very minimal in the first place, but we started moving our way back forward, just trying to rally back from this absolute disaster. Down into turns 1 though on lap 61, I could see Daniel Suarez, our rival, just in front of us now. Less than 10 to go at this point. Eric Jones had taken the lead as we exit turns 2. Going to get to the outside of our former teammate of Eric Almirola as we go down towards turns 3. Definitely disappointed with how this final laps are going for us here in Kansas as we come through turns 3. And behind us we got a spinner of the 13 of Ty Dillon now through the center of the corner. Big hits there from Landon Castle and the 32 of Corey LaJoie. This final stage is getting a little more intense, and that would force now a late race restart on us, as that's going to give us a chance to make up more time. Daniel Suarez on that row right in front of us now as the green flag is back out. The 20 of Eric Jones leads with 3 laps to go. Can he get win number 2 on the season, as we're going to try and rally back to the best finish possible now, as it's the 95 of Matt Benedetto just in front of myself. Now he's going to drop down to that bottom lane, as you can see how many cars have damage here from that wreck that Daniel Suarez ignited now, as he's going to slide up to that top lane as we go down this back straightaway. Obviously just going to probably run this outside until the finish of this race, as we're approaching just 2 laps to go at this point here in Kansas. Eric Jones runs the top lane though, and he might be giving away the win to possibly the 4 of Kevin Harvick or the 11 of Denny Hamlin, his teammate. Now as we're going to close up right on the outside of Suarez. Thankfully, I'm going to actually have an opportunity to force it 3 wide and not even have to worry about Daniel Suarez. Now as Harvick takes the lead with 2 laps to go. Denny Hamlin though is right on the left-hand side of Harvick, ready to pounce on the opportunity as we clear our rival of Suarez this time. And I'm going to stay on the outside as we give a push to our teammate of Kurt Busch. Denny Hamlin leads down into turns 3 now after passing Harvick down the back straightaway. It's Jones and Harvick going for for P2s. We're going to split the middle between the 12 and the 1 on the exit of turn 4. A little bit of contact there with our teammate of Kurt Busch, but no big deal now as we come through to start the final lap here. And Kansas is going to force it up the middle between the 24 and the 31 of Reddick. And William Byron now as we come through turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Harvick trying to put the pressure on Denny Hamlin, but it looks like Hamlin might have the speed to hang on. And here we are rallying our way back to battle for a top 10 position on this final lap as we go down into turns 3 for the final time here in Kansas. And we send it in deep, and we're going to slide up in front of the 31 of Reddick on the outside, or on the exit of turns 4. Denny Hamlin wins over second place of Kevin Harvick, and somehow we rally back to finish in the top 10 here in Kansas. What could have been maybe if things went a little bit better. I still don't think we had the speed to win, but either way, Denny Hamlin once again with a victory as he continues his dominance from last season into this season now, as in 40th place was Parker Kligerman. But weird race for us to say the least. Stage 1 ending was odd. I mean, we lost content to start the race, obviously, so it was already a bit of a weird episode here. And then, like I said, Stage 1 ending was weird. Stage 2 was alright, and then the third stage, Daniel Suarez, he just crowded me up into the wall, and he did not stop hitting me, and eventually just hooked me in the left rear, and things went downhill from there. Very unfortunate, which sucks. But either way, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. There you see the point standings on the screen. We had Ray Alfala in the truck for us here today, and I was actually in the Xfinity car myself, but we're going to just redo that eventually in a different episode because of the lost content. But Boyer is the last driver in the playoffs, so I'll see you guys in the next one for the Coca-Cola 600. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a great day.